Well, I'm Jimmy Vincent Tran, but my wife wants to call me Jimmy Bo Tran. This is the name I was born with. And I am perhaps the last living generation of Vietnamese Americans that actually witnessed the war. I was 8 years old when I visited my mom in a Viet Cong infested area. I don't know why on earth she was there, but she was there working as a nurse. And that night, flare just lit up the sky. It was bright as day. And I ran out wild-eyed in wonder because this is the first time I saw the fighting that's not on TV. TV's, of course, flooded with images every day, but this is the first time I saw, and I played war games with kids, and I thought, wow, Mom, this is an actual fight. And there were bullets and bombs and things exploding all around us, and I wasn't afraid of danger because of being amazed by the flares and the sounds. But my mom yanked me out of that as soon as she could, and then we went to the bunker. And the next morning, we left my mom to go back to Saigon, and I saw piles of dead bodies of the Viet Cong that were killed the night before. On the side of the road, literally, piles this high. And that left a lasting image in my head. I actually saw not just the fun of war like I thought as a boy, but the actual consequence. And I will never forget that. So that's why I think I'm the last living generation that actually experienced the war. And soon after the war ended, in 75, the year after, and we were stuck behind. My family decided not to flee, despite the fact that we should have. And my mom died a few years after because she had TB. And in the aftermath, food was scarce, medicine was scarce, fuel was scarce, and everything was scarce. And being the wife of a former South Vietnamese sergeant, she could not get the medical care that she should have deserved, and she died. I was only 11. That was really hard. And for a short time, maybe a year or two, sometimes we were forced to dig roots out of the ground to find something to eat because of the policies that the communist regime put in after severely limited agriculture production. And so food was scarce. We didn't have a widespread famine like in some of the places, but everybody, a lot of people, including myself, was malnourished. So in all that desperation, I remember my dad having a shortwave radio that we would hide in the bunker underneath that he dug himself near where we lived, and we would hide in this bunker and listen to BBC and Voice of America. Voice of America. I believe that the only one of two sources of free news that we could access besides state-run propaganda. So we know actually what's happening in the world outside of what our government was telling us. We hid in the bunker and listened to these stories, and I would look forward to that. Every day I would hear the Yankee Doodle playing. And I didn't know that it was Yankee Doodle. Later coming here, I knew it was Yankee Doodle. It goes, and I thought, America, this land far away, where probably the greatest country on earth, where freedom and liberty and opportunity probably exist. And I dreamed of, I gotta get out of here. I need to escape somehow and go to that land and experience that freedom. And thanks to God, it actually happened. So a few years soon after, in 1980, my dad, who was on the run from the police because of his own insurrection attempt, he tried to stop guns and weapons and thinking that somehow if the Americans come back or there's an uprising, he and his group would join this effort, the general uprising to restore democracy. But it never happened because the police infiltrated the group, and everyone, almost everyone except my dad, was arrested, and some jailed, some was executed. But my dad, fortunately, was not there, and he spent the next 2 years running from police. And during all that time, a man who's his friend offered to send one of his children on one of these trips to escape Vietnam. And my dad said, "I want to choose you, son, because you're the youngest, and you have the most chance at life to learn, to get educated." And I guess that was a wise choice. So I, being the youngest one, fled Vietnam at 13 years of age in 1980. And after 2 weeks at sea, running out of fuel and water, we were rescued by the Kuna, a ship operated by Food for the Hungry, on whose ship was Bob Moffat, who is our next speaker sitting behind me to the right. He met me on the ship, and he told my story to a couple of church members here, and they ended up being my foster parents. And I came here in Arizona in 1980 at 14 years of age. And sure enough, as I was expected, America was the land of the free, was the greatest country on earth, with the freedom and the opportunity offered to know at a level that literally does not exist anywhere else in the world. And through all those years, it has remained so. And in 1985, I joined the Marine Corps. Of some idealism, I was still this young man, full of passion, full of hot blood. And I dreamed of the day that I would, when the boat comes in and the lid goes down, I would storm that beach and free Vietnam again. I dreamed that day happening. It never came, but who knows, it might one day. And even though I'm probably too old at that point to storm the beach. But as the colors stood here and they raised the flag and the anthem played, the same thing, the same tingling went from my veins. Sorry if I get emotional. The same when I was 18, 22, standing in port arms before the flag. I felt so burnt. I am here representing my country, my new homeland, of whom I'm a new citizen, and I'm willing to put my life down to defend this country and its ideals. And even now, sorry, to pause a little bit. And even now, as I sat there, or stood there, behind watching the colors, the same tingling went through my veins. I am so very proud to be a member, a citizen of this country. And yes, the years have not always been ideal. I experienced discrimination as an Asian American. I've experienced some racism and even bullying. But throughout it all, whatever hardships I suffer, whatever I do, is still way, way, way better than the way I came from. So I took that as an opportunity, and throughout, I met kind, courageous friends that not only helped me, but stood up for me. And that I will never forget and appreciate the kind, generous, hardworking, and courageous Americans that I have met and befriended. We moved here in Arizona in 2004, seeking a better place to raise kids rather than Southern Cal. Not that Southern Cal is bad, but East Valley, Arizona is easier, as we found out. And Chandler in 2010, and I must say, not by design, but I am proud and blessed to be living in Chandler, who has 13% of the population are Asians, the most diversity in Arizona, and the only one, I'm proud to say, has the courage to not dismantle its diversity, equity, and inclusion department. So the city of Chandler, to me, is like America to the world. The city of Chandler to Arizona is like America to the world, a model of light and freedom and hope. And after all, we all are immigrants or descendants of immigrants. It's the immigrants who broke their backs building this country. This country was indeed built on the back of immigrant labor. And my wife Gwen and I are proud to be contributors to make life a better place, not just for ourselves, but for others around me. And our unique background enriches us as a group. As diversity grows, we bring our unique talents and contribute to this country rather than rob from it. We contribute, we pay taxes, we use our talents. As the girls that danced earlier were to a Vietnamese song, but you notice they were not all Vietnamese. That's why diversity strengthens us and enriches us rather than weakens us. It's all our perspective. After all, our DNA is 99.999% human. We all want clean air, we all want clean water, and we all want good schools and good paying jobs. And on that ground, I encourage us all to contribute what we can to humanity, to diversity, and especially to those less fortunate than us. And on that note, go Chandler. Kudos to all the armed forces members, and especially former Marines like myself. Semper Fidelis. Thank you.